Hello, everybody. It's Brandon with BiggerPockets.com. Beardy Brandon here on Instagram. And I'm doing another Instagram Live today where I'm going to be bringing in my performance coach, Jason DeRees, who's a guy I talk with every other week for the last 4 or 5 years, or I don't know, probably 4 years, 3.5. I don't know. It's been a while. And it's really helped me come up with a lot of good ideas and changes in my life. And so I'm going to be bringing him in. And we're going to talk about failure today, about the what do we call it? The mindset of when things don't go the way that you want them to go. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'll bring him in just a moment. In the meantime, what's up, everybody? Where's everyone at? Let's see. We got, just want to say hello to everybody. Hey, AK Bryans. What's up? Jay Duke. All right. What's up, everybody? Jason in. What's up? Yelena Fost. What's up, Jamie? Dude, real fit. Hey, Brandon, I'm a professional failure. That's funny. What's up, everyone? We got Denver. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm good. You? Did you get some sun? Look like your tan is ahead of mine.
I did. I have been getting some sun, I guess, but I'm also at this weird glare right now coming in from the outside the sea shed. I just got done recording a podcast episode that just everything went wrong that could go wrong. Everything went wrong. I mean, we were supposed to do this call 45 minutes ago.
45 minutes ago, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, what's up, man? How you been?
I've been good. Yeah, sometimes, I'm kind of a victim of be careful what you wish for,
You've been a little busy. That's good.
A little busy, yeah. And it's not like I have 4 boys under age 9 or anything at home and 2 different baseball teams and a swim team or anything like that,
Yeah, nothing like that.
Just nothing like that. Nothing, yeah. But yeah, it's some days I'm wondering, can I do all this? And then I just look and then I do it. So it's interesting to watch your capacity expand,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Has your energy has your dad capacity energy expanded, balanced since the new baby came?
Yes. Yeah. It's I don't know how I can ever have 2 kids, and you have 2 kids. You're like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then you just expand like a balloon to that size. Yeah, it's been good. In fact, I just got my first date night with my wife, no kid in months and months and months. We actually got a babysitter. Ryan and Pinky watched Rosie and Wilder while we went out. And it was good. I mean, Wilder melted down and ended up crying for the last 20 minutes of their babysitting, but they survived. So
that's sometimes, yeah. It's hard to teach the kids diversity, right? But you need to.
Yes.
It's the best gift you can give them, right?
Yeah.
Getting away. Yeah, my wife and I, our 10-year anniversary is next month, and we're taking our first vacation of more than 2 days in 10 years.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm going to a tropical place too. I'm going to have some shave ices. So
you are going to have to get some shave ice. It's going to be a good time.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome. Yeah.
Let's talk about failure.
Let's talk about failure. Oh man, that's a fun topic, right?
Yeah.
The mindset of failure.
Yeah, the mindset behind failure. So you brought this up earlier before we started recording this or doing this right now. You brought up the fact that I made an Instagram story earlier today about how I had set a goal last week, and I was going it was I do this intention journal. I have a journal that we release at Bigger Pockets, and I released this thing, and in it last week I said the one thing I'm going to get done this week, no matter what, is to release a video on Bigger Pockets about the lessons that I've learned, Ryan and I have learned about going big in our business. And then we recorded it, and I got it done, and I sent it over to BP at the last minute. And then I do we call it a Sabbath or a family day. Basically, Friday night to Saturday night, we just unplug. It's just unplug, no technology. And so Friday night, right before that, I sent it over and said, okay, here you go. Go ahead and launch it. And Zach was going to do it. But then he ended up having too many videos to release. I talked to him today. Too many videos to release. It just didn't come out. And it's easy to me want to say, well, it's Zach's fault for not releasing the video, for me not hitting my goal. But that's just complete BS, right? Zach, that wasn't his goal. It was my goal. And so he got a bunch of videos. He submitted the ones that he got, probably in order of which he got them. And so I failed at the one thing last week I actually had to do, which is kind of funny. So,
and as I was watching your post, I had already texted the people on my text list that we're having an Instagram Live at 1 o'clock today. And then I got your message that you're running late, and I was like, is that Brandon's fault or my fault? And I'm like, well,
no, it's not. That was my fault.
No, but it's my fault because I sent that out without confirming with you this morning. Right?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, and then some things even to the matter of So the reason that this morning was like, we just did this podcast and everything went wrong with it. My computer shut down in the middle of it and crashed, and like the cameras weren't working right. They shut off in the middle, and like everything that went wrong. But even things that I would assume are not in my control are still my responsibility. I could have tested this up ahead of time. I should have had a checklist that said, what percentage is your computer sitting at? Because what happened is the computer, it was plugged in, but it wasn't charging for some reason. And I never noticed the countdown from 100% down to 1%. Why? I have no idea. I have no idea what was going on. But why didn't I have a checklist that said check to make sure your power is actually charging before doing a podcast? So even things that are out of your control are still things that I could have fixed. And I could have gotten up an hour earlier and had the camera set up first and tested it all. I just did. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Like Jocko says, it's all my fault. I'm taking extreme ownership of it.
And I think, as I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and those that are pushing that next level and they're driving for that next level, failure is part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Failure is part of it. It's almost like once you embrace and accept that you may fail is actually when you start to succeed. Because I can't tell you like how many conversations I've had in the past 2 months as I've been connecting with a lot of your followers, especially those that are risk averse, high S, high C disc profiles. They take action, they don't follow through, and they're going in this looping circle over and over again because the outcome they're focusing on is perfection. And whether you call it real estate investing and the real estate's, better than a startup or how safe it is, it's still building a business. It's building it from scratch. Even with all the formulas that BiggerPockets shares, it's always going to be different for someone else in their market. Yeah. And if you're holding on to like it's got to be perfect, you'll never take the first step. And it's like I see these comments all the time, and I'm going to throw a little bit of coaching at your audience right now, and it's unsolicited because it's one way. But I see all these questions like, "Hey, I got this deal. Should I do it? Hey, I got this deal. What do you think, Brandon? What do you think, Brandon? What do you think?" Like, this isn't rocket science. Like it's like there is a calculator, right? There's a calculator. You put in the rent, you put in the cost, you guess your makeover fees or whatever, and then you just go. You either make the decision to go or you sit there and try to get Brandon to respond forever because that's a mindset issue, right? It's like failure is part of the game. Like I can only imagine how many bad decisions and bad things, Brandon, you've made on the way, right? Because I'm on my 5th company right now. I got sued in one went down in flames, but my end goal wasn't success in that first company, right? Well, at the time it was, but if that company wasn't going to succeed, I was going to keep going, right? Yep.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's one of the things I preach to real estate investors all the time is like, it's similar to dating. Like you're never going to get that spouse if you don't ask out some people. Failure is part of it's actually just part of the game, and so it actually becomes a game to me. And it's one of the ways I just kind of shift that mindset a little bit about failure is that it's like, you ever know a guy who's really good at asking for girls' phone numbers? Like I've had some friends in my past who are really good at that. Now I would be terrible at that, even if I wasn't, married. But like I would be terrible because I'm just terrified of that rejection. But so I know some guys are just like, they just will ask every girl, and they'll hit on them, they'll talk to them, they'll ask for the phone number, and they're always pursuing, and it becomes a game to them in a way of like, I know I get rejected 80% of the time, but the 20% still works out. And so that's how I look at real estate is like that. I'm just going to keep pursuing new things, and like, what percentage am I failing? What am I winning on? And so I just kind of try to gamify failure a little bit, and that makes it feel less like failure in the moment and more like a big picture thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that we do have control over, so if I'm talking to a client and they're going through a failure or they had a big failure, the first thing is like there's a reaction, right? And the reaction is the reaction, right? We can shift the mindset and we could dive into that and do that, but the reaction that the person's having at that time is like you're going to have the reaction. So have the reaction, and then as soon as you get balanced in, you can actually ask yourself, well, what is the meaning I'm giving this situation?
Yeah.
Because the meaning, that the default meaning for the failure, if a person hasn't done this mindset or coaching work before, it's going to be their default reaction, right? And so if it's like they have this failure, or things go bad, or computers don't work, or it's Mercury retrograde, or whatever's going on, right? or you're exhausted. Like you give this meaning, right? And you can feel like, oh my God, I'm failing. But if you step back and take a look, it's like, I've had success at such a level, at such a capacity, at such a growth rate. Look at where I'm at right now compared to where. So you always have control of the meaning, and that's where you shift the meaning, you shift how you feel. So it's literally like, what does this mean, and what am I going to do, right?
Yeah, that's so good.
We've seen that. We've seen that map of the road to success. It goes fail, 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 right? You know, so like the road to success is lined with massive failure.
Hey, how do you view that in terms of like, and I asked this for a specific reason. 2 people now in the comments here have mentioned getting laid off today. Like,
really?
2 people today got laid off.
I saw that.
So how do you approach a situation like that's a pretty dramatic failure, right? Or people might be feeling like, oh man, like it's really tough. I'm you know, how do you have meaning to that? How does a person twist the meaning or change their meaning?
Well, is it because of like a performance failure, or is it a gift? Right? It depends on how you frame it, right? Like depending on the job and where you're at in life. Like, is this the job you wanted and you worked really hard and it just didn't work out? Maybe the company is failing and it has nothing to do with you. So it could be a company performance. It could be a job performance issue, you know, and it could be you're meant for something greater. Like you could say, I got laid off, I'm screwed, right? Or you could say, I'm laid off, you know what? Let's see if I can do that, get a flip under contract in the next 30 days. Because you want to look for a job. Like if I'm going to start looking for a job, most people, the job process today is not really throwing resumes blindly. It's who you know, basically. Yep. So it's like, you're going to look for a job for the next 3 or 4 months, or are you going to try to find a property, do something in the meantime, right? So it's, it could be, and that's a mindset issue, right? Now, maybe you know there's a specific other career path you've always wanted to do. Maybe here's life bringing you some space to do that, right? Yeah. Or if this is really a job you wanted and you screwed up, maybe you need to take a deep look at yourself to see why you got here. Maybe it's a growth opportunity, right?
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Because even like something that even if you were the cause of it, like even if you were, you know, whatever, you weren't working hard enough, you were the cause, then it's like you said, it's an opportunity for growth. So I think that's a really interesting way to look at that. A wake up call, the space you needed. Like maybe it's like, hey, I got enough runway here in savings to last me 3 months. So I got a 3-month window where before I was complaining about how I didn't have time to go and look for deals. Well, now I've got everything I asked for. I was looking for opportunity to, you know, go and find deals. And sometimes I think maybe, I mean, this goes real, you know, I don't know, deep is the word, but like maybe this was yourself sabotaging your position at work to give you that space to go and do that, right? Maybe that's what you really wanted deep down, was to not have that job anymore. I don't know. Maybe. It
could. Absolutely could be, right? It could be. Yeah. And, you know, the question I'm curious is like, did you like that job anyway? Do you want that job, right? You know, and it's a big shift a lot of people should make, right? Because we are socially conditioned to get a job, right? Go get your job, right? And when you start waking up to the fact that money can come from any direction at any time, like you could get, if you're a really happy person, you could get people to like pay you to come over to their house and just open the door and smile at them, right? Like anything's possible, you know? And most people don't realize it. If you're making, you know, say 40, 50 grand a year, you know, in your 20s or something, and you're at that level, you know, you basically just need to get 40 people to give you what, $100 or something, right? What are the numbers? 40 grand is like $4,000 a month, right? Get 40 people to give you $100 every single month, or other way around. Like it's so easy to make money because money is everywhere.
Yes,
right? Money's everywhere.
I like to say that money is like a waterfall that we like can stick our hand into, like a cup into, and pull out of. Yeah. And so like, but a lot of people think of it as like this dry, like barren desert, and you're out there searching for it. But I definitely have the mindset that, and we talked about that a few weeks ago on the money mindset Instagram live. That money is more of a, like, I'm a very much abundance mindset. There's so much out there. I had a conversation last night with a gentleman here, like at my house. We were just talking about Maui real estate, and we're like talking about just like, he's not even a real estate investor, but he was just like, I've been thinking about like how this opportunity is for, and he was like some obscure, like, you know, building an extra ADU unit and then partnering with homeowners to be able to do that. And I'm like, that's a phenomenal idea. Like that would probably work. But people just don't stick with it long enough, and therefore don't do it because I don't. Again, it goes back to failure. Is it because they're afraid of failure? Is that why people don't take actions? Because of fear of failure? Probably.
Well, it does, right? If they're a high D disc profile, they already took the action. It may have been wrong. If they're the high I, they made wrong decisions, right? They're too optimistic to a fault. If they're a high S, they're probably not moving fast enough. And if they're a high C, they're stuck in failure, right? So like if you're unable to move, like for example, I've probably had 5 different people that I've coached, relatively new clients in the past like 30, 40 days where I talk to them and they're just going in circles in step 1 and 2. Because they're creating the plan, they're looking at the property, they're about to make an offer, then they go distraction, or then they do this, and there's always this avoidance happen.
Yeah.
Because their model, their target, which they weren't consciously aware of, they're like, oh, I'm going to do a real estate investment, right? Just like they hear. But what's actually happening is that they were aiming at a target of perfection. They were aiming at a target of, I'm going to get this property. It's going to work right. It's going to close in this amount of time. I'm going to make this much. I'm going to have this type of renter in there that I can deal with. So like really they're focusing on the ideal perfect scenario. And when you focus on a scenario that requires a decision, a specific answer out of other people, right? Like, yes, I will buy this, or yes, I will rent that. That actually creates resistance, because if you're a manipulative person, then you do that all day long. If you're not a manipulative person, if you're trying to control somebody else, you're going to feel resistance. So for people that are stuck in that situation, I would say, well, check, what are you actually after? Like, what are you after? Well, I'm after this. It's like, well, you understand it could go wrong, right? Like, what's the worst case scenario? Well, the worst case scenario is I can't fill the house or I'm upside down. So maybe is the worst case scenario that you sell the property 90 days later and you lose 5%? Like, is that the worst case scenario? So if you make peace with the worst case scenario or find the gift in the worst case scenario, you can neutralize it.
Yeah, that's so good.
But what I really say to people in that situation is like, I understand that you're looking for your first property, and I understand you're looking to get going, but have you actually made a decision to become a real estate investor, or have you just wanted it really bad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this point where you make the big decision, which is like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I guarantee if you look at all those people that are asking you, hey, Brandon, what do you think about this deal? I'd say 95% to 98% of them haven't made that decision.
Yeah,
the decision that I am in, this is going to happen. If this screws up, I'm going to do my best to make it right. But you're not going to want your way to that level, right?
Yeah.
And failure happens. Like, it sucks. It does, right? I've had massive failure. On my first company, I raised $500,000 in funding. We invented these like race car driver cooling suits, and we were like in the pits in Daytona. It was like so much fun, right? And that was like 10 years ago, and I had no idea how to run a business back then. And when the business like crashed, I like literally cried. I was heartbroken. Because I had given it everything I had, and it actually led to this. I got sued after that by one of the investors because I put my name on his guarantee, and then I owed somebody $400,000, and it just like went down this path of, but that, and then I got sued, which was terrifying because I was being sued by a rich person with a greedy overbilling attorney, to the point where my attorney had to file a motion for excessive discovery, right? Like crazy. And I remember this day distinctly. I was like, am I being sued? Like, is this the end of me? And I made a decision that this lawsuit is going to be the best thing that ever happened to me. And I don't know how, but that's the meaning I'm giving it right now. And what actually happened is I was a new coach working for Tony Robbins. And my buddy, who was my co-partner in the business, worked in tech sales, and he was in charge of the market development funds in his tech company. So he started directing those market development funds to me so I could do on-site performance workshops so we could get money to pay our lawyer fees. Mm. And that's how I got into on-site workshops, which opened up my Robbins coaching game that led me to become like the #1 coach delivering on-site corporate workshops in the next 2 years that had so much attention that 2 years later, Tony got in and rebranded the entire company or that entire product offering. And that kind of stemmed the big job that went to there. So that that could have shut me down. But by giving it a powerful meaning, even though I didn't know at the time how it was going to happen, it was transformative because I'm like, this is not the end of me. This is the beginning. And I don't know how, but I'm going to look back and say, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And that's a decision. That's a decision. It's a mindset, right? So make a decision, change the meaning, because you always have control over that. So I think you've heard that story multiple times, but
no, it's good. Yeah. It's good. It's I didn't know the whole story of the whole the pit crew suit thing. Like I knew you did something with the NASCAR world or with the racing world, but I didn't know that's what it was. So that's cool.
It was a lot of fun. I was so naive back then. And I was a high disc profile, so naive. I just assumed we'd go to this first trade show and I quit my job before this trade show, just assuming we'd sell hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we sold nothing. Like literally, just so naive, right? But it was a very interesting process, right? You know, it was a lot of fun creating products and stuff. But you know, it got me here, right? It got me here. Yeah, I'm sure you've had some fun failures too.
I tried to sell wooden sunglasses for a while. I don't have as many like crash and burn failures. Like I haven't gotten sued yet. I'm sure I will. But like I tried a lot of different businesses because I get bored and I try to start a new business, and I'm very prone to that. And so, yeah, and usually my failures are like slow burnouts. Like they just kind of slowly. Like, you know, I got a buddy right now who runs a company called No Touch, and he's got a product called Hands Down. It's actually a phenomenal idea. It's basically this thing you put on your shirt, and every time your hand goes up to your face and crosses that spot, it buzzes a little. It just kind of vibrates, and it teaches you to stop touching your face, because the average person touches their face 400 times a day. That's why we all get sick with the coronavirus, right? I mean, like it's like you touch things and then you touch your mouth, and we all do it all the time. Anyway, so he invented this device, and it's super cool. And I jumped on as co-founder with him, sort of. Like he founded it, but I jumped on and like to help him, and within like 6 months, I realized like I wasn't passionate about it. I think it's an amazing product, but I was not like waking up going, this is what I want to do today. And so I had to admit that I was failing at this thing, and like it was actually the best thing for the company for me not to be involved. Now, I didn't know that the coronavirus was going to scare everyone to death, and now his company's doing really well. But, you know, he's that idea, I don't know, like my failures are generally that kind of thing where I take on too much and then they just slowly piddle out. And I mean, part of me says, like, I kind of talk negatively about it, but I'm not sure, because I wouldn't have known that wasn't my passion to do that, and that I wasn't into it unless I had tried it, you know? So like, yeah, I feel bad that my buddy, you know, and I had some grand plans and it didn't work out. But I still think his company was better off me being there even for the few months that I was than other. And then the wooden sunglasses, I tried selling those. I tried selling kites online, like, you know, let's go fly a kite. And all those like never really worked out. But when I think about why I failed at those things, a couple of things come to mind. I just read, I'm reading this book right now. What's it called? Unscripted by MJ DeMarco. It's really good. I just finished it. But he talks in there about like so many people are looking for the get rich quick scheme. And like as much as I don't want to admit that that's what I was doing, I mean that's what I'm doing, right? Like I'm selling wooden sunglasses. Like I'm not a sunglass designer. I have no passion for wooden sunglasses. I was just looking to make more money at some point in my life, right? So he made his point that like what are you bringing to the market that's better than everyone else? What are you doing that's better than everyone else? Why are you going to do that every single day for a year straight without making any money because that's your passion? And so that's why I failed at a lot of those businesses, was just by that. So that was kind of the mindset of why I failed, is because like it just wasn't my thing. It wasn't my, and I don't even think passion's the right word, because you'll be passionate about what, like we're all passionate about what's successful. Like if that hands down program would have like immediately took off and I was like super successful right away with it, I probably would have stuck with it. So so I don't even know what the word is, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't my purpose, I guess, maybe.
Well, yeah, and it could have been part of the path, because if I would have blown up that company 986, because I'm like, oh, we're going to do these temperature regulating suits, and we're going to like transform that with this shirt everybody's going to wear, and then we're going to revolutionize spacesuits and all this stuff. But like if that company would have been successful, I would have never become a coach.
Yeah.
And my purpose was in this life, as far as I could tell, was to become a coach. So it was almost like that was a path that took me here to there. So looking back, it's always interesting, right? But my big lesson from that company was not like we had a Me Too product and we had a industry changing product, and we're like, well, let's go dominate the Me Too and then we'll do the other one. And we should have went the other way. Yes.
Lesson learned.
And don't let a high I make your sales projections. So
that's good advice.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
funny, man. Well,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, failure. It's not fun, obviously, but like you said, the meaning you give to it changes. Kind of to summarize what we talked about today. The meaning
Yeah.
you give to it is going to change like how you feel about that thing, and then take ownership of it. Like you failed, yeah, like don't blame it on somebody else, but take ownership of it. And
Yeah.
then you're able to change things around. What else did we talk about?
Yeah. Just real simple. What does it mean, and what am I going to do?
Mm,
Right. And the other thing I would say is like, get in the game. Like make the decision to be in the game, right? And prepare. Don't aim for failure, but expect it. Be prepared for it, right?
Yeah.
And try to mitigate the risk as best you can. But you're never going to get in the game until you actually start swinging, start playing. So like get up to plate, start swinging, make that decision.
100%. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
I think that's good. Unless anybody has any questions or anything. Yeah. Oh wait! I did have something else. Yeah. Anybody have any questions before we wrap? Yeah. So for those of you that are enjoying this type of direction, this input, I'm in the process and going to be launching a group program. I'm not sure if it's the weekly acceleration program or the mindset, but it's basically going to be a group coaching based program with a peer group, with mentoring, with coaching, and that's going to be happening probably in the next 30 days or so. That's going to launch. So if you're interested, just follow me on Instagram. If you want to take a disc profile for free, my gift to you, text Coach Jason to 474747. It's also in my Instagram bio too. Okay. And if you're interested in coaching, I have some amazing coaches on my team who are available to help too now. If you're interested, just book in a complimentary session. You can do it that way too. So
very cool.
Cool.
All right, dude. Well, thanks so much. It's been fun. And everybody else, stay tuned. Follow Jason. And, of course, follow me if you're not, which you probably are if you're watching this. And, go out and do some failure.
Go do it.
Good.
Bye.
Bye, dude.
See you.